Okay, guys, so while we're still here, I may as well talk about FISA, the FISA memo that was just released, because that's all over the news right now, and it's kind of a complicated story, and it's taken me a while to really piece together what's happened. But here's my summary of what you need to know about the FISA memo release, and what it means for the DNC and for America. Next on Jinka Jabo. So, right, I haven't honestly been following the story very closely, but I guess there has been rumors about this memo, which was, it was published in January 18th, but it was just released on the 2nd, February 2nd, to the public by order of the president. And it basically talks through the involvement of this research agency, Fusion GPS, and a former British spy, Christopher Steele, and how they were collecting evidence, wiretapping, monitoring the president, Donald Trump, illegally during the campaign, with expressed hopes that Trump would not win. And so many important people are implicated, including a Department of Justice attorney, I think, Department of Justice attorney who, with his wife, were supporting Steele and Fusion GPS in the release of a dossier of negative evidence and surveillance against then candidate Donald Trump. So really, that's the gist of it. You can read it for yourself. It's all over. There are links to it everywhere. And I sat down and I read it, and it took me a couple of times. It's a bit of a complicated legalese type document, but it's not that long. It's arranged in such a way that I think Trump himself would enjoy reading it. That is supposing that he knows how to read, which of course he does. But it's not that long, so everyone should read it. It's amazing being part of this interactive play, as it were. I don't understand how people watch fiction, or people watch Breaking Bad and all these TV shows and stuff. I just don't get it. I mean, just look in the news every day, and it's stranger than fiction at all times with the administration we have. And FBI Director Comey was just implicated. And it's funny because I was just reading about him in Fire and Fury, which I'm still not done with, but it's a bit of a tedious read. It seems like all of political writing lately has, it's not as intelligent. I mean, opinion pieces and stuff that I read in newspapers. I digress. But Comey was implicated, and that's no surprise. And yet it's kind of weird, he'd seem to attack Hillary with the release of, right before the election, right? Her case was reopened. And so, at least in Fire and Fury, it argues that Comey was fired by Trump as a way of, is sort of like a offering to the Democrats, when it turns out that, he was working for the Democrats for some reason. It's hard to figure all these motives, but at the very least, I must say that this memo, the 6-page memo that you should read if you're at all curious, don't just take what I'm saying as what is in it, but because I didn't understand the complete legalese of circular reporting and all that. But take your time with it, break it down, study this memo, and it'll just confirm what WikiLeaks already confirmed, and that was the corruption of the DNC. We already know that the DNC was controlled by Hillary. And when we talk about the DNC at this time period, we are talking about then presidential candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton. That's who we're talking about. Former First Lady Hillary Hilldog Clinton, right? So it's silly that we even separate the two. It's not like Trump, who is kind of an odd match for the Republicans, and he's entered a party with many in direct opposition to him. All of this is becoming more and more in the past anyway, and I think, of course, it was a PR thing by Trump just to demonstrate how much he's winning and to say, well, look, they were trying to screw me, and here is still more evidence. Why can't you accept this? You know, we get sources like WikiLeaks, for example. Like, they have a 100% accuracy credibility rating. Like, everyone admits to what they're implicated saying with WikiLeaks, with the exception of Clinton, who always hid behind, well, Russia was somehow involved in information. When it turns out that this whole making up Russia stuff, it was a nothing burger from day one, and it was just it was fought for. Even though, okay, in Fire and Fury, it makes some claim that Jared Kushner might have had some involvement with Russia, and of course there's business ties to Russia. When you have someone doing international business, it makes sense. But it all turns out to be just completely fabricated, and we have more and more evidence, and yet you know, it was hyped up a bit too much in the media. They were saying on Fox News that it was going to be like Watergate level stuff, when really, I mean, Comey's already gone, and these other officials, they're not going to be working anymore. I don't think. You're fired. It's not how he says it. That's how someone impersonating him would say it. Honestly, it's just an interesting story. So go ahead and take a look at the memo, and follow along with all the characters as life in this strange drama continues every day. And so there's always something unusual to spot in the news. I won't go any further than that. Peace.